Hello, hello, and welcome to day 2 of the Believing Better series. Our special guest today is Petra. We have kind of a little fun story of how we met. For you guys who are out there saying, I don't know where my ideal client is, you can actually find them in the bayou. So we're going to tell a little bit about our meeting and your story and the things that changed for you, where you found yourself at, like what position you were in according to your beliefs. And once you are able to see and change them, what we call see, lift, and shift, how did your life turn around? All the fun stuff. So,
Yeah. Hello, everyone. It's a pleasure for me to be on this series because the work Kim is doing and the punchline approach is really profound and it helped me to elevate my life. Definitely. It was a great and still is a great experience for me. My name is Petra now Adams. I got married in the meantime. So this is about manifesting my dream life. So Petra Adams. And I am originally from Czech Republic and I moved to US, to Louisiana, where Kim is living about 3 years ago. 3.5. And I did a lot of self-development work at home in Czech. So I have over 10 years of self-development work through different therapies like tapping, EFT, soul integration, things like that. And I did a little bit of coaching, but I was here in Louisiana, and here in the area, people are not really into self-healing, personal development much, or I haven't met them. I haven't been lucky to meet those kind of people. And when I was looking, people were either sending me to a church or to a counselor. And this is not really what I was looking for. And I was just hanging around by myself. And one day I decided to go on a kayak trip in the bayou with one company here who is doing those trips. And I went by myself and we were introduced. I remember now standing on that parking lot. It was like, hey, just go around and introduce each other. And Kim was standing there and her friend she was supposed to go with didn't show up. So she was there alone too. And she said like, hey, I am a yoga teacher and life coach. And I am from Pineville. And I was like, hey, yeah, finally I'm meeting someone who can I can connect with maybe. And we were supposed to go share driving to the launch, and I was like, can I drive with you? Can I go with you, please? So I kind of sneaked in her car, and it was a long drive, right? It was like 1 hour drive. So we talked, and then we ended up on a kayak together.
thank God we ended up on the kayak together because I'd probably still be sitting on the bayou trying to get back.
Yeah, yeah. I found out we were going backwards, and Kim was taking pictures, like, "Oh, hi, I'm doing this." And it was such a strong wind that the kayak was going backwards if one stopped paddling. It was
I have
fun. It
no
was really
idea how to
fun.
kayak.
Yeah. But in that time, my life was like, I wouldn't say that I was like in a down, but emotionally I was down because I moved to US to kind of find myself. It was main purpose for me. It was as well a career move. I'm working for international company as a leader, and I got assignment here in US, and I took it because uh, for me it was a great way to be myself. You know, like we are stuck in those patterns of expectations and from family as well, the social norms of the country we are living at. And definitely work, right? I was working in that time for 7 years in the same company, and I was not the same person. Like Linda was saying yesterday, I was working on myself hard, but the people still saw me as that person who was hired. And it was at some way like really hard to progress in their eyes. Like I was changing, I was working on myself, I was progressing, I was getting results, but it was not really seen as I would wish it would. But it was in some way, right? Because I got here in US, so it was awesome, and I could start like fresh start because no one knew me here. I knew one person briefly, my boss, and that was it. No one else knew me. I was here alone by myself, no family, no connections. It was like so profound to start like pure fresh start. of my personality and finding out who I want to be, who I am, right? Because no one was telling me, hey, you are not like you were, because no one knew me. So it was like, whoo, I can try new things and be who I really want to be. Uh, but at some point, I actually found out that, I somehow got in a relationship which was not before I got here, right? So I trapped myself in a long distance relationship, which was not really working well, and um, I decided to break up because it didn't go well, and I saw the pattern I'm following, right, in my relationships, that it's me. I realized that it's me creating what's going on, because uh, otherwise it would not be repetitive. Like
Mhm.
I was not changing something in me. That's why I was looking for someone to talk to discuss things with, because someone in me was attracting those relationships which were not serving me, and which were not serving the goal I had for my life, for my where I want to head, where I want to go. Uh, so I signed up for, I know it was around Easter. Usually, Easter for
Mhm.
me is a very profound time, because I go through transformation. For me, Easter is a time of transformation. I don't know how you guys have it, but last few years, Easter is always like something big happens and some big transformation. This year, COVID happened, and for me, it was a big transformation time. And I signed up for. It was supposed to be like some short program, Journey to Joy.
It was Journey to Joy, and it was during Easter.
Yes,
Exactly.
yeah,
Yeah.
and it was like Easter time, and I remember you calling me and saying, "Hey, this is not for you. This is too small for you. You wouldn't be satisfied with that. You should do like intense 3 months coaching." And I was like, "Whoa, like slow down. Like I'm not sure." But I was in such a deep like down, because in that time something else happened as well, like relationship wise, when I realized like that I really do not. Um, Serve myself with my choices.
Yeah, it's that whole when you recognize it, but then it's like, now what?
Yeah, and it was another like that I was not important enough for the guy. And I joined the 3 months coaching, and I found my buffer. I quit drinking. I quit drinking every time on Easter lately, but I was like dedicated 3 months not drinking. I found out how much I actually drink. That was like interesting, because guys, like I literally didn't realize. I knew that I am, but I didn't realize how much.
Yeah.
And then it was like we went in a bar, and I was like, because we were meeting in the bars, right, with friends and with people at their homes, and it was like, oh, you want a beer, and get the beer, and here's a beer, and I was like, no, I don't. I was like, you are not drinking? I was like, no, not now. And I was feeling like some alien, like they were looking at me like I have 3 heads, like what happened? I was just, no, I'm just on a land. That was a great thing. Yeah, I could just say that I'm on a land. And it was really life changing, and a lot of things happened in that time in me. And I would say that for me the most, so I started because of relationships, right? That was my main goal to change. But I found out how much the limiting beliefs we have are impacting everything. This is like how we do one thing, we do everything. So it was like relationship thing, but it ended up being relationship to myself, because
Yes. It's just
we
a catalyst to bring it forward for us to see it, right? The thing that's creating the suffering in the moment and
I,
not.
I realized that we spend so much time building the relationship with others. Like I want to have a good relationship with my boss, with my coworkers, with my friends, with my family, with my partner, but we never stop and look what relationship we have with ourselves. Like, do I treat myself the same way I treat the people I love, the people I like? Like, am I doing for myself what I'm doing for others? And I found out that I'm not, right? So I found out that even if I already did the work, right? This is even like more crazy. I was like years of work, and I still had those mind patterns in me, the beliefs and the thoughts. And
Yeah,
I
I
remember, yeah,
remember you came to yoga after the Bayou trip, and then I remember us standing right here in the front of the shop, and with the relationship thing and the
yeah,
what? Like everything started. That's where the unraveling started. That
yeah.
unpacking.
And I remember we were doing the 5-step model, the punchline model, like situation, thought, emotion, action, result. And I was just looking at it and I was like, wow. I'm very like structured, logical person in a way. Like I have a spiritual part, but I can as well be like very structured and logical. And it was like to see it black
Mhm.
and white, I was like, wow. And I know that in that moment, we discovered my limiting belief that I believed, past tense, that I cannot have successful career and successful
Mm.
family, happy family relationship life. Because in my mind, everyone who is successful in the career is in some way jeopardizing family, kids, partners, because they dedicate their life to the career. And I remember you wrote it on there, and I was like, yep, I believe that. And you were like, it's not true. And I was like, wow.
It's almost like you need to repeat it again right now for those who are listening, because it sounds so innocent. So it sounds
Yeah,
so rational.
yeah, but it's like one sentence. It's like one, but it's impacting so much because I found out that when I was successful at work,
Mhm.
right, when I was like striving and everything was going fine and I was getting recognition, I was sabotaging my relationship. It's like, no, I cannot focus on that. Like, I have to focus on work, blah, blah, blah. And I was doing things to make the relationship worse. Like, I don't have time now. I cannot talk, always priority work. And then because I believe that I have to do that to succeed at work. And then I realized that my relationship is going like downhill, right? So I started focusing on relationship. And in that moment, I started sabotaging work. I
Mhm.
don't like work. I hate going there. I don't like the people because in my mind, I was rationalizing I can have only one. I have to pick. And if one is going good, the second must be crappy.
And it
That's
was
crazy.
true. It was true for you because
Yeah,
you believed it. That's what's
believed
so,
it. And
it's
then I
so
saw
good.
it and I was like, where have you been all my life?
Mm. Just the awareness, man. It's so
Yeah.
good. And I do want to talk a moment, if you're okay going into it, but how, we talk about more than mindset because yeah, it is recognizing the thought, but there's also, because you had some experiences with physical pain in the body. Do you remember? Like, and recognizing that unconscious is so strong that
Yeah.
it's in our body, and I know you do this work also for leaders, for it's like really recognizing that the sensations that come up in our body from those beliefs
Yeah.
makes it
Like I
so
do
real.
I do the work on 3 levels with myself and as well like my clients, and it's releasing trapped emotions because we have, as you said, the physical sensations. We have trapped emotions from the past life, from the traumatic experiences we had, which in right now in our mind can look innocent. Oh, someone came and got my ice cream when I was 4 years old, but in that time it was highly traumatic and we have those traumas like trapped in ourselves. So that's like one very important thing to release that, otherwise it keeps triggering, it's coming back and we have to fight it with our mind. We have to like overpower it with our mind and go, and then when we are in that, like for me, when I'm like tired or hungry, my mind doesn't have a power to overpower those
Mhm.
subconscious emotional triggers. So that's one. The second is the punchline approach, which is so profound because once we make the gap, right, the trapped emotion leaves, we need to replace it with something, and we need to make sure that we are replacing it with something healthy. And that's when the punchline approach come for me in a place that I'm just rewriting the mind models which
Mhm.
are
Mhm.
there running the show, right? They're going and to find it and like reprogram it is great. And then I work with visualization, that we can actually subconsciously, in a meditation. I know that you do a lot of meditations in the modern mindset. I think every morning, right?
Right.
That we visualize and we program what we want to do, how we want to be, how we want to feel. Because I know that in one moment when we work together, uh, it was like, well, just, you can just be happy. And I was like, I don't know how to be happy. Like, stop saying that. And you,
Change your thoughts, change the way you feel.
and
And this stuff is running behind the scenes,
I was
spinning.
so
Like,
mad. I was like, F you. Like, I don't know how
I
to do
know.
that. I don't know how to do that. And
It's the
uh,
feeling. It's the
yeah,
feeling. You got to get into the feeling
yeah.
sensation. This is the
And you
flow
gave me
chart.
that meditation to visualize the current one, then try to visualize the new one when we were heading. And it was such a life-changing experience for me because I was
Let's stay
able
here.
to feel the feeling I wanted to feel.
Exactly. Let's stay here
Yeah.
for a second because I like the way you put, and I want to come back on. I can kind of put on top of that, because if we don't do the way you're explaining it, then we're trying to believe a thought that's not true to us.
Yes.
And this is the more than mindset. This is why it takes that PUN framework over and over and over. I love the way you're saying it. Is I remember riding my bike and stopping, and I was listening to a Louise Hay audio, and I was like, no, we can't just change our thoughts. Positive affirmations don't work because I don't believe them. We've got to go get the
Mhm.
root cause, which is the belief we can't see. And that's the beauty of working with someone else, even though we've done
Yeah.
10 years of work, right?
Like, I'm loved, I'm loved, I'm loved, I love myself. And subconscious is saying, Tank, no, you are not being loved. Like, look how he's treating you, and like how she's treating you, how your boss is treating you, how you are treating you. And subconscious is like, you don't have that, like, like this bully voice inside. And then we are trying to overpower that inner voice, which is the inner program run for ages with our mind. And it's actually so energy draining.
Yep.
I know that I was like sleeping a lot. Like, before I started doing this work, I had this like short, it was winter, dark, I was alone, things like that, going through like relationship change. And I know I was sleeping a lot. I got home and I went to sleep at 7 and woke up
Right, right.
because I was so energy drained. I was so drained.
And remember
Yeah.
like we talk about the physical manifestations, but do you remember like
Mhm.
whenever you start coming out of this, it start like you're that rash that came out under your skin, like
I had
that,
that before. I had that before, and this is. I am true believer in psychosomatics. It was
Yes.
like me not being able to keep my boundaries,
Mhm.
because in that relationship, I was not keeping my boundaries. Like, he was saying something which obviously wasn't true. It wasn't logically matching, but I wanted to believe it.
Mhm.
So I was accepting that, and then not keeping the promises. I was accepting that, but inside I was suffering, and I was not keeping my boundaries. I was not standing up for myself. I was not true to myself, and it all manifested in like rush. And once I cleared that, like in the months doing the work, when I was like, no relationship, I just work on myself, clear the stuff before I go do something new. It disappeared, and it didn't come back since,
So
because I know what is causing it. And whenever it's like coming back, I'm like, hey,
here you
you're, like you're somehow like getting back somewhere in the old patterns. What is that? Like, are you standing up for yourself? Are you keeping your, you know,
that's it. It's
boundaries?
exactly what you just said. It's the stop and inquire. And then once you
Yeah.
see it, release it, move on. It's that simple, but it is not simple when you're itching and you're hurting and you're like, it's not easy when
It
you're in
was
the middle of
horrible.
it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I couldn't cure it, right? I couldn't, like, no medication could help me, because
Exactly.
it was like emotional
And the
suffering. Like,
question is, what's getting under your skin? Like what? And yet when we're in it, like, oh my God, it's kind of like the change your thought, right? It's like,
yeah.
oh, if I knew how I could. But it's the settling down, dropping the resistance to have the ability to see
Yeah.
and listen
Where is
to
it?
what we
Where is
can't
it
hear.
coming from?
Yes,
Yeah.
yes.
So
Uh,
just as an emotion and allow it, right? We go and like right now, and it's coming back. It's not like I know that there was this saying like this monk was going and he was carrying this heavy backpack and this guy stopped him and was like, "Oh, wise man, how is it to be enlightened?" And he just dropped the backpack and stretches back, and he's like, "Oh, like oh." It's like okay, and like what happens after you reach that, and the man puts the backpack on again and keeps going, right?
mhm.
So it's coming back. What I really love about this work is that I now have a tool to get out of it. So instead of being in it for a week, months, 3 months, year, some people are
Yeah,
in those emotions a lifetime.
lifetime.
Like I did the work so much that right now I can realize it immediately.
Yes.
And I know I'm doing it, right? So I know I'm buffering with Facebook and I know I'm buffering with chocolate. And it's just my decision if I want to go down that hill or if I want to change it and heal it and be true to myself and come back to myself. So we can still make a decision to keep it,
At least you're doing it consciously. You're doing it
but
with
it's
awareness.
conscious. Yes,
Yes.
exactly. It's a personal decision. It's so empowering. It's no one's fault. It's my fault.
Mhm.
I am allowing it. I know I can change it. I know I can change everything in my life if I decide.
Mhm. So let's talk about, we're going to say, I'm going to kind of read the list because I want to stay with this, but what was your old belief? And that was, I can't have a successful relationship and a career.
That was one of them. I had a lot. I had more, not a lot. I had more, but that was the first one, which I
What would you
realized.
say is the primary one you want to speak about? Would it be the somatics and the physical, like understanding the way that works? Or would it be that you came to realize and
Well,
create
that was
the life
one.
you
And I would
wanted?
say the second one, which was big for me because I got from that to relationship to myself, right? I work on that heavily. And it was that
I remember.
if I speak up what I think, what I want, I will be rejected. That
Hmm.
was like my other one, like really big. That if I say express what I want and I express my feelings about things and how I really want to do things and stop being just accommodating myself to others, I will be rejected. And I had like a big fear of rejection, and it
That's
was
a
like
big one.
on all the levels impacting so much um, that that change was
Mhm.
huge for me.
And so what if you can stand up for yourself and be yourself? Like so
Yeah,
liberating.
and it was so hard to for me to change that because it's that subconscious fear. For me, it was like you're like standing in front of the decision to do it, right? So you're standing in front of a decision. I'll just speak up for myself no matter what the cost is. That's that one decision. We are one decision away from a totally different life. That was for me. I will say what's on my mind, stand up for myself no matter what the consequences are.
Mhm.
That was my decision, right, to change that. And I remember it's like you are standing in front of this jello wall and you're just trying to like do that step through
Mm.
it.
Mm.
That's like the if I visualize that inner feeling to someone, it's like you have to there's like some resistance to do that step, but once you're on the other side, it's easy.
Yeah. It's the stuff our mind tells us when we go to do it.
Yeah.
Like, oh, this is when it happens. And we've all lived with this emotional manipulation. Linda and I talked about that yesterday. If you do something that's out of a line, they're going to punish you by rejecting you or by leaving you out or by ignoring you or whatever the thing is. And those stories of the past really prevent us from taking a stand today because it happened in the sixth grade or because it happened in the with the last relationship. It's so real. It feels so real in the body because there's an emotional samskara that's connected to it, and you'll feel that vibration.
Yeah, and now I say it, and people are not used to it, right? So
Mhm.
like in general, people are not used to people being honest and honestly
Right.
exposing and asking the questions to clarify, right? If there are assumptions, to ask the questions to clarify. Hey, you said that. Does it mean you don't like me? Like it's so uncomfortable for other people. And they're like, whoa, you are so bold and stuff. Like, yeah, it's awesome. But guys, it's a work. Like it was not always for me like that. And I did the work and it was uncomfortable. And I believe it's hard. I remember I was like, but it's hard, like with Kim, right? But it's hard. She was like, it's just a thought. And I was like, F you. Like, stop saying that. It is hard. It is hard. It's hard. And I was just so mad. But that that thought of that it's hard is just a thought was life changing for me. It's just
Uncomfortable. That's
because
what's
if you are sitting with that thought, it's hard. It's so energy draining. Like you
Mhm.
don't want to do that. You don't want to stand up and go because you believe that you have a high chance of failing and that it would take a lot of energy. And like by nature, we are lazy, so we don't really want to. So turning it to something fun and challenging and something we just try for the heck of it, was very liberating for me.
Yeah.
Like,
You
oh,
had
I
a
will just go and try to say this guy this and see how it goes. It's like a game book. It's not like hard thing. It's just testing on people.
Yeah. And you started bringing this work into the workplace,
Yes.
right? In management and leadership.
Yes.
So we talk a little bit about let's talk about the part about when you first started bringing it in and you had to expose them to it because they were not familiar with this kind of, like we said earlier, like being in relationship, being honest, asking instead of assuming, and being forward. So how was that experience?
Well, the thing is that I'm working in a technical field, so there's a lot of like the people there are more like logical thinking, rational, like more the tech mind. And this like mindset emotional work, it's a little bit more woo thing. So what I like about this work is that it's, as I said, it's structured. And I had a lot of people, so it didn't work for me to bring it like on a global level, like for like groups of people, but I worked with individuals who were willing to do that because I saw how this work is helping to build up our lives. So I was offering it. I was like, hey, like I see you're limiting yourself here. Do you want to do the work with me to overcome your limiting beliefs, your limits to like level up? Um, and I as well work with some people who are having like psychosomatic
Mhm.
issues related to high stress because we are working in high stress environment and migraines, neck pains, like blocked neck, shoulder pain, stomach ache, like not explained, like vomiting, like issues like that,
Mhm.
coming from high stress. And the people are going to doctors and getting the pills and ultrasounds and MRIs and all that. And it's all coming from the mindset, stress, like psychosomatic. And I see it because I work with people and I have a result. Like we were able to get like out of migraine through one session because it was coming from some trauma in the childhood. And that lady says she doesn't have a migraine anymore for, I don't know, it was like 1.5 years now. And it was just that trapped emotion which was triggered through work and personal stuff and relationship, which was like recreating that.
Right.
So I I brought it to work and I see it help people, though right now it's not really, I would say, go to, like this personal development. I think that with this new generation, um, they call it like Zen generation or something like that, the new.
Is it millennium? Are we still there or we've gotten
No, no, millennial is over.
You have to do it. I don't do all
Millennials
that.
are over, but like this work, I think will be coming more and more
Oh, yeah.
important,
Yeah.
like emotional intelligence, because it is
Yeah.
emotional intelligence at the end of the day. And those guys are coming from school and to work on like self-worth, self-value is important to achieve the success they want
I
to achieve.
agree. I think it's here. I think it's here. It's not going anywhere. We're just going to see more and more of it. And I feel like what we can do, even with having this series, is it's really exposing, expose more people to see the possibilities, the potentials, to see the success stories from someone who didn't believe either at one point, because we could not see our own, we couldn't see it was beliefs. We could not see that we were creating it. And that's really what I want to ask the question is, what was the transition phase when you were going from the old to the new? In other words, the in between. It was because you did the 10 years of transformational work. You knew you were, and then there was this moment of like, oh, and recognizing. And that's when all the physical stuff started coming up. And we did a lot of work. We did a lot of night calls and, it's like really processing through the physical sensations in the back, in the body. And I want to talk about that because I think when somebody starts on this transformation journey and they're really doing the deeper work, a lot of the psychosomatic stuff does come up. And it's kind of like, we don't want you to go and make it happen. But when it happens, just know that it's just the mind body disconnection. It's part of being a human. It's the human condition. It's really nothing wrong. It's only awareness, but we do have the tools to expose and extract, to dismantle what we can't see that's running behind the scenes.
So what I would like to tell people, like when you get to the phase that you're working with someone on a mindset, or you're working on your mindset yourself, and you hit the point that you will start having physical, any like physical signs coming up, don't stop the work. Find someone who can help you release the trapped emotions which are causing this physical manifestation, because it's actually awesome. Like whenever it happens to me, I'm like, yay, awesome. Like I see like another thing which was trapped in me because it's there. Like that you stop the work will not make that thing disappear. That trapped emotion is staying in you. And it's better to do this work and release it in a moment when you are not going through any like hula hoops in your life, because it will show up later on in the moment when would be the most like problematic for you, or the most like how to say it,
the circumstances or the pressures of life or the catalyst for it to bubble up. But the bubbling up, there's a gift in the bubbling up. Yes. And that's for you to release. It's just an opportunity for a better outcome.
Opportunity, because you are not in, it's coming up through your own work, not through circumstances and situations bringing it up in you. When you are forced to react, you have time and peace to clear it up on your pace and your time. If you just realize that you have it, instead of that something happened in your life and it will bring it up and then you have to deal with that. So that's what I'm saying. And there are like a lot of like craniosacral massages, therapy. There are a lot of things. I'm doing the soul integration for the trauma healing. There's emotion code. There's so many things. Just find what fits you and clear it up, and it will just you will do this space jump on your journey when it leaves. I'm telling you, it's so like such a relief. And I know that the first time to do that, it's scary because our subconscious is like, hey, I don't want to go there again. And I don't, like just leave it there and, keep the rug on it and just don't.
That safe container is so important to really trust. And you have to feel safe. You have to feel safe in order to go there, because the mind just would not let you go. And I kind of relate it to when someone starts exercising or start doing something new, they'll get plantar fasciitis or a knee thing or a hip thing, or, it's like all of this stuff comes up whenever you start something new. It's very much like that. And then we instantly think it's something we did, or it's something in the physical body. And we don't recognize that it was actually the thoughts about moving forward, or the fear about being the new identity or the new person, because it's like the subconscious is always thinking about how are they going to reject me if I'm different, or if I, that kind of stuff.
Those deep, uncomfortable things.
Yes. It's so worth it.
But my experience is that you release it once, it's really uncomfortable. You release it something second time, it is uncomfortable. you do it third time, it is kind of uncomfortable. And the fourth time, you are like, I need someone just to get me out of that. It's like short time of discomfort brings such a relief long term that you actually, it's like you have a uh, pin in your finger, you just want someone to pull it out, right? And in the
Mhm.
beginning, like if it happens first time, you're like, this will hurt, this will hurt. And the second time, you're like, just get it out.
Yeah, it's like you start looking forward to it. But here's
Yes.
the other side of that is you can get addicted to healing. Like we have to stop that too. So it's like it's always a balancing act because we kind of get used to we want to always be knocking and hey, we get addicted to the liberation. We get addicted to that breakthrough. And it's like, hold on. We already have the tools. You just use them whenever you need them. So just keep living life. And I promise you, opportunity will allow it to bubble up. Then you can use your tools again. But you don't have to always have someone rescuing you. But at the beginning, I think we do. I think it does take someone to show us that, someone who knows how to do it. And that's what I love about what all of you guys are doing. We did the work together and then y'all instantly were like, I want to know how to do this. I want to help other people. My friend needs it. My mom needs it. My sister needs it. Whoever. And that's really how all of this started opening up is, how to integrate coaching or this integrative coaching in your current skill set, whatever it is, because you were already doing tapping, you already had quite a bit of training and skill set in it. It was just that next level of really understanding the unconscious, and breaking through
Does
that.
it help me a lot in like I'm very independent person. I like freedom and I don't like being dependent on coaches, therapists. As you said, like this addiction to healing.
Mm-hmm.
Like I am addicted to healing in some way because I'm addicted to self progress.
Mm-hmm.
But I hate being addicted to someone who is doing it for me.
Yes.
So that's why I wanted to learn it so I can use it. And it actually helped me. With my, I believe it helped me with my career, with my work, because I was able to use those tools with the people at work to help them overcome their struggles, their mind programs. And in the beginning, they were saying like, "Well, I don't really believe in this," and at the end, we're like, "Whoa, this really worked." And it's like you show care, but we can show care, but I can show care with the tools which are actually helping them,
It doesn't
because
have to
I
be
care.
us.
I always care about people who I'm working with, but it's the difference to say, well, I'm sorry that this happened to you, or, this happened, it's sad, but whenever you need help, just come to me. I have the tools how you can feel better. And then like it takes a month and they feel better, and that's like so rewarding for both of us. Like I really love helping them and seeing them like succeeding and thriving, and um, they love it too, of course, right?
Yeah, it's
They
like once you have something that's magic, you want to share the magic, you want to share the joy, you want to like bring on the party. So let's talk about the things that you did materialize in this process. So your life now looks like, because there was even a time where
yeah.
it was like it wasn't just relationships, it was job, it was like kind of all in there. But now, like you're sitting in the let's celebrate it. You're sitting in the
Yeah.
celebration of the joy. You've like all full
Like in
circle.
the beginning, I would like to say that I was not happy, but I really didn't have defined what I want. And I think that a lot of people are in it. So if you're listening to it and you are sitting there and you're unhappy with your life, ask yourself, have I put down what I actually want? And I know that I was procrastinating on it for a long time. You were telling me, like, write 5 things, 5 fingers, what do you want in life? And I was like, 2 months, nothing. And then we went to that retreat and you were like, you will write it now. I'm watching you. So I really didn't have defined what I want, and that was like the first big mistake. So that helped me, and then I clarified that I want family. I want to have a family life. I knew I want to have a baby, but I really didn't have a partner who would share that. Because I was always acting like independent and free. So I was attracting those kind of partners, and they didn't want to have kids, right? Because they wanted to be independent and free and travel and everything. So uh, I found out I want to have like a family life and really want to have a kid, but I want to have a career and like fulfilling work life in the same time. I don't want to like sacrifice it for it. I don't want to sacrifice my work and fulfillment, because like work which is fulfilling for me is bringing a joy to me, and I really like it, and I didn't want to sacrifice it for family, right? So overcoming that belief brought me like I met a guy I love, and I believe he's my soulmate. We are so close, and he's so amazing, and just living with him is so great. I have I haven't experienced relationship like that before, and it's just every day, is a miracle for me to like wake up next to him and be like, hey, I have it finally. And we have, I got married, we are living in a house. I have a beautiful daughter, um, which got born like 2 months ago. So she's my tiny little princess, and she's amazing. And my relationships with my family got better. Like they were not bad before, but like for example, with my sister, who is amazing and awesome, like in last year, I would say we even started like partnering at work. She's doing the craniosacral therapy and
Mm.
physiotherapy, and we started partnering like the mind work and this like deep energy level work. And our relationship got on the next level, which is awesome. I got promoted at work. I started doing this coaching as like partially uh, as a business, like exploring the business potentials of it. So when I'm on a maternity leave, I can get some as well financial security and do what I love, because I really love that work. I really love it. Doing
It's
it.
so
It's so
good.
fulfilling. So many changes happened, and it was this. Everyone is like, "Oh, this 2020 year sucks, and we don't have a toilet paper." For me, it
Mm.
was like the major transformation year on all levels. I got promoted, I got a pay raise, I got pregnant, I moved to a new house, I got married. You know,
2020 is an amazing year. It's kind of hard
my
to say
daughter
that,
got born,
right?
I started the business, got like everything set up in Czech Republic, and it's just like I can
Life is
just
good.
celebrate. Like I can look back on this year and be like, whew, 1 year, woohoo, there was something.
Yeah. I
What a
can
ride.
definitely say it's not one of my top 5 worst years or my top 2 worst years for
No,
sure. Like probably not even in the top 7.
no. For me, this was like big in a good way.
Yeah. And I think it's the tool set. I think it's Danielle that texted me the other day or someone, and they were like, thank God we have these tools. I don't know what we would have done if we wouldn't have had these tools.
For me, it was this time enabled me to slow down
Mhm.
and really get focused. Like basically, I lost the distractions of traveling, concerts, all kind of social gatherings and stuff, and just come to me and um, internalize, and things
Mm.
started like I already prepared, the ground for it before, but everything like materialized for me this year.
So good. So instead of traveling outward as we were all doing, we were all able to
Yes.
travel inward,
Yeah.
which is where we found everything, the joy, the empowerment, the acceptance of all that is, the contrast. And I think anyway, that's what it's been like with me, and that's what I'm seeing in you also. So good.
Sitting on my backyard and journaling and writing down the manifestations, what I want to more of, and you know, it came. It just kept coming.
So let me make sure oops, I'm looking at my notes to make sure I didn't have anything left to ask you, but I want to just, when looking back, what's one thing your now self would tell your past self before it started? Like, what would you tell someone else who's where you were when you began the work?
I would say just do it, because like start now. There is no better time than now to start, um, because the things will not change. They will just seem like they're changing, but they will be just the same thing in a different clothes. It's we repeat the same things over and over. They just look slightly different. So just start now. There is no tomorrow to wait for.
Yeah. What would you tell someone who's in the middle of the work and they're feeling like when all the stuff starts bubbling up and you want to eject the process, you want to quit, you want to like what would you tell that person about, staying with it or whatever? Because we all experience that transition.
Well, I know that sometimes it can be overwhelming. Um, Sometimes we are just working with the person who's not the right fit for us. So respect your pace. I would say that's really important. Don't let others push you in the progress.
Mhm.
Respect your own pace. Like our inner soul, inner ourselves know what is the right pace for us and what are the things we can release right now to stay stable and healthy. And you know it. You know when is the right time. So it's not about stopping, like keep going in your own pace.
So it's
So
even just slowing down whenever you're feeling it's a
yeah,
bit too much.
yeah, just slow down, take time to process. We need to be switching from those phases of do and be. So we do something and then we just have to be with it to
Mm,
integrate it. Um,
mhm.
do the step and then just, enjoy the view, I would say. So you get accommodated to the altitude you got to, before you take the next steps, because then it can be overwhelming and not sustainable.
Mhm.
So keep going, but respect your pace. And we don't have to do all the time. We have to do and then just be, and
Mhm.
then do and then just be. So, plant the tree and then enjoy the fruit, and then plant the tree and then enjoy the fruit.
Mm.
That's, I
So
think,
good.
how it
Yeah,
is.
that's a great point because I remember I was like a couple of years ago, I felt an urgency for that. Like I was kind of like wanting them to get it faster than they could receive it and it's like it kind of petrified the body, the system, And I really had to learn that it was creating the safe space for the nervous system to release and let go. We really have to honor our body, the physical sensations that are activated through the work and really being there and not looking at where someone else is. That was really big too.
So if you are working with someone who is pushing you, just keep your own pace and tell them, hey, I had enough, for now. I have to process. It's totally fine. Because I know we are result based and we just want the results. And,
Mhm.
a lot of coaches out there, or therapists are as well working on their like self doubt, like, can I guarantee the results? Can I bring the
Yeah.
results to everyone? Like we are all human, having our own shadows and limitations. So just respect yourself. You know what is the best for you, but keep going with your own pace.
That's so good. So guys, I'm going to turn the recording off, but we're going to stay here. If anyone has questions or want to talk to Petra, you have a few minutes before you have to go see about your little one.
Yeah.
So yeah, I'm going to go ahead and just stop this. So we have another series tomorrow that's Monday at 11 o'clock. I believe it's with Mallory. So we'll see you guys then. And Petra, thank you for joining us. Is there anything I didn't ask you that you want to share?
Well, thank you for inviting me. I really appreciated that I could share this. And if I can do it, you can do it. That's what I would tell everyone. We are like, no one is a superhuman. So
Yeah.
if I can do it, you can do it, and just embrace yourself and do the first step.
And I think the most beautiful thing is the ripple effect. Once we learn how, we can show someone else how. And really that's the beauty of all of this
And we
because you
find a
don't want to keep it to
community.
yourself.
Like for me, it brought a community, and I really love it. The integrative life coach community is very fulfilling, supportive, important for me, and it's great to have. And once you start doing this work, you will start attracting those kind of communities and people, and it will bring more to your life. If you have any questions and you would like to ask me, you will find me on Facebook or LinkedIn, or you can contact me through my webpage, and I think it will be posted under the
Yeah.
video. So in case there will be any more questions, just let me know. I'm available.
We'll have the link attached, and you can go straight to her personal page or her group or wherever you want to find her. If you're in the More Than Mindset group, just you'll see her name tagged. And so you can just click on it from there. We do have a very rich community. I do believe that we've got a
Yeah.
lot of experience together. So, all righty, let me turn this off.